So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand.
So come, let us work hand in hand to build this land we call home. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique deserve all that we can do to enhance it, to make it better, to improve it. A friend said to me today, there are those among us who will love to see Grenada flat on its knees. In other words, they would love to see this place burn flat down, even if they have to come and pick up the ashes. That is how evil some people are. They thirsty for power. They hungry for power. And they would do everything to mash up this place, to wreck it. They would sabotage. They would work with the agents in ministries and departments throughout to stall, to derail, to undermine so many things because they don't want good for Grenada. They don't want to see Grenada transform. They don't want good for the people. And that is exactly the objective. They want to see the people suffer. They want to see bad things befall the people. And then, if that happens, they would just walk their way back into power. They're going to waltz their way back into power. So they don't care if this place burn down. They don't care if this place mash up. They don't care about that. All they want is power. Even if they have to get power with the ashes, right? Get power when everything mash up and wreck. They don't care about that. They just want power. But there are people in Grenada who wants good for Grenada. There are people in the diaspora, they just want to see good things happen for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And they are working towards that every single day. They want good to befall this country. They want nice things to happen for Grenada. And they feel good every time when good things happening for Grenada. A while ago, I spoke to a good friend, a youth, and I said to him, boy, I see our partner, Kerry Frank, got a new appointment in Miami as the Deputy Consul General there. And I said, boy, I'm happy for him because he's a positive young man who has always had a very bright future ahead of him. So I'm happy for him. And, we were laughing, saying, boy, we're happy for him. And we wish him all the best. But it's laughing because we're happy. It's like, saying tears of joy. Yes, you're crying, but you're happy. You see? So we were laughing at the fact that NNP is fighting among themselves. NNP is falling apart before everybody's eyes in this country. And it's a whole pile of geriatrics on the NNP side. But you have the NDC administration who looking forward, who looking at the future, making sure that these young men and women get positions and, build a career in certain fields. And I'm really happy to see that. So I am saying there are people who want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And that is why I'm going to start off with some positive stuff tonight before I dive into the meat of the conversation for tonight, right? A lot of checks start rolling out.
Farmers impacted by Hurricane Beryl will begin tomorrow, October 17th. These payments are part of the ministry's...
Right, so yes, it's stale news. This particular clip that happened Thursday, checks start rolling out. A lot of the farmers got their check on Thursday at the different offices throughout the, I think it's districts. I think they have district offices. And it went smoothly.
Income support program, providing 4,500 EC dollars to farmers up to 5 acres of land and 9,000 for those with more than 5 acres. So far, claims valued at $7,015,500 have been made. Government has acted on the request of some farmers for payments to be made to them in checks. Honorable Lennox Andrews, Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, announced the location and collection period for farmers to collect their checks from tomorrow.
At the Northern District of Sates, it will be done at the Plains District Office at 10 a.m. Ministers Cornwall and Andal, they will be there to hand out the checks to you as of 10 a.m. For the Eastern District of St. Andrew, the distribution will take place at the Agricultural District Office in Grenville from 10 a.m. And Ministers David Andrew, Delma and Gloria Thomas and Lennox Andrews will be there to hand out the checks. At the District of St. David's, at the Lassages District Office, our Prime Minister will be there to distribute the checks from 10 a.m. 8 a.m., sorry, from 8 a.m. And for the Western District in Black Bay St. John's, Ministers Andy Williams, Ron Redhead, Philip Telesford, Kevin James, and Claudette Joseph will be there to distribute the checks from 9 a.m.
All farmers receiving checks are to arrive at the designated district location at least 30 minutes before the distribution time. Minister Andrews explained the rationale behind the initiative.
This is not about politics. This is about efficiency and effectiveness. The farmers, they have been waiting for those monies for a very long time now. So we have to find a way to get the money to the farmers as quickly as possible. So it will take some time for me as the Minister for Agriculture to go around the country in some days to hand out checks to the farmers, yeah? And therefore the easiest way is for us, all of us as a government, to assist the Minister of Agriculture in handing out those checks.
20 years after the passage of Hurricane Ivan, Caribbean leaders and experts convened to discuss the lessons learned from the 2004 hurricane within the context of Hurricane Beryl. The Ivan plus 20 resilient...
So I just wanted to play that piece just to let you know that the ministers, they were there, all of them, present at the different locations, and they handed the checks to the farmers. Some farmers got their money via the bank, the credit union, because, you know, they provided their account information, and some just wanted their check in their hand to go and change it and do what they have to do. We wish them all the best. We know the NNP, they were condemning government. They had all kinds of stuff to say about government, even before government do what they're supposed to do. But that's the NNP. They would complain, they would grind, they would groan, they would see all manner of things negative just to throw cold water on good initiatives. And that is their strategy. They know it's good. They know the things that the NDC is doing is wonderful, bravo, good. But even before they start doing it, they would try to throw cold water on it with all kind of controversy and all kind of lies, all kind of concoctions. That is what they do best, all right? So the government, they handed out these checks, and you're talking about $7-point-something million in the hands of farmers, just like that. And then you have a couple millions that they put in the hands of the fishers, right? you have people who working on the boats, and because of Hurricane Beryl, they had some setbacks, they couldn't go out and so on. So they too, they're getting some income support. And the owners of the boat, they're getting the assistance required. I think the chief fisheries officer, Justin Rennie, he spoke about that, Let me see if I can get that information here for you. All right. Justin Rennie, I think he spoke about that. Where is it? Somewhere around the place, I have that somewhere there. Right. So he gave a nice breakdown on that. So you're not left out. The fishers, you're not left out. I met two fishermen on the weekend, and they asked about that. They inquired about that. You're not left out. You too will be given the support that you so deserve. All right. So let me just play that quickly so you can get an appreciation of that. Mr. Justin Rennie, he spoke there, and they're doing a fantastic job in fisheries. Right, I saw it somewhere wrong here. Nice.
Facility on the CRIF, which is called Coast, Caribbean, Oceans, and facility, to ensure that in case there is a event that the fishing industry can be rehabilitated. However, the facility is a parametric facility. It's not meant to indemnify you. So in the event that there is a hurricane or some adverse weather condition, excessive rainfalls, floods, what have you, heavy seas, a payout would be made. Now, the payout was not meant to indemnify the fishing industry. It is meant to provide some form of sustainable livelihoods to the industry. Hence, the issue with the assistance, because the payout amounted to 2.9 million EC dollars. However, the total cost of value of the damage was $5.5 million. So a decision had to be made. And as a result, it was decided that the fishing vessel owners who actually sustained damage would receive 50% of the damage. In addition, because the fisher folks up at Carriacou had suffered inordinately in terms of the hurricane, they would be provided with a one-off payment of $4,500, calculated over a period of 3 months, $1,500 for a 3-month period. That is to provide some relief to the crews of the vessel. So it's not for the owners, it's for the crews of the vessels, because the owners would receive 50% of the cost of the damage. Additionally, we will recognize that in the last decade, a number of persons have been involved in CMOS farming. And when the system arrives, we know that they cause significant damage to the CMOS plot. So our CMOS farmers would receive material assistance to the tune of $71,000. There were 2 small processors, that is primary processors of seafoods. They also received some damage, and as a result, they would receive an approximately $16,000. So the total assistance to the industry, it's $4.6 million. The contribution from Coast, or the payout from Coast, is $2.9 million. So in effect, government is putting in approximately $1.7 million towards the rehabilitation of the industry, as well as to provide sustainable livelihood to the fisher folks at Carriacou and Pitimatnik. As I mentioned earlier, the issue of the damage to the marine ecosystem, it is highly technical and scientific, and as a result, there needs to be more in-depth.
Right. So thank you very much there, Mr. Justin Rennie. You all are doing a fantastic job in fisheries. So the fishers, you're not left out. So you have the farmers who collected the 7 point something million dollars, and the fishers, they're getting 4 point something million dollars. All right. The boats, the people who work on the vessel, they will be assisted. And then you have the livestock farmers, those who are involved in animal husbandry and that kind of thing. They too are not left out at all. And Dr. Cummins, he explained brilliantly and nicely so the kind of assistance that will be given to them. So let me just feature that.
Packages would include and are limited to equipment and material support. And I said limited to because we've been asked numerous times, if farmers are being given monetary support for the livestock component of this burial compensation stuff. So far we have been providing support to the different subsectors. I'll just list what is being done so far and what is to be done as we move forward. So in terms of the apiculture, which is the bee industry, on the 19th of September, the Ministry of Agriculture, through the aid of the 8 Chinese Mission, would have donated 50 boxes, 500 frames, 500 wax sheets, 10 extractors, 40 bee suit to the beekeepers. Presently, we had just received 98 bags of pollen substitute that we would be delivering next week to the beekeepers, and that was donated from the Caribbean Beekeepers Association. From the consolidated funds, we have our first 250 out of 1,000 boxes that we would have procured to be given out also. Metal excluders, wax sheet, hive tools, frames, smokers, all these are for support to the apiculture industry. In terms of livestock and pigs, we have donated about 400 bags of feed. Close to 40 farmers benefited in both the Eastern and Northern District. Those were donated by the Caribbean Agriculture Network Disaster Reduction and Management Team. We had 900 bags of feed that was donated to the Sistile from the consolidated funds, about 100 farmers benefiting from this. We had another 1,000 bags of feed went up on the September 10th, with nearly 200 farmers benefiting also, that including Petit Martinique, getting feed. Still to come, we have 150 tanks to send up to Carriacou. We have 240 tanks. The next bit of the tank should be here today, making it 350 tanks to be donated to both between Carriacou and Grenada, and Petit Martinique also. 600 rows of fencing for both sheep and goat farmers to be distributed both between Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Building supplies, we have facility upgrade under the World Bank program, animals to be given out also under that same World Bank program. We have small ruminant genetic enhancement program. We have some AI to take place on the small ruminant under that World Bank program. Cattle and poultry, we have some material support, which includes, that comes from the some consolidated funds. Genetic enhancement under the cattle program. Happy to say that this morning I had a farmer that called in that got a calf from the artificial insemination program. Again, we have a few calves on the ground already. October 3rd, we would have distributed 8,900 day-old chicks with feed, and nearly 30 farmers benefiting. On the week of the 21st, which is next week, we have another 8,900 chicks to be distributed again to farmers. So, and then we have tomorrow or Friday, most likely Friday, because we have a pack schedule this week, another 3,000 chickens to be distributed to the farmers. We have a portion of about 150 chicks going to the St. Patrick's Anglican Primary School, and the rest will be distributed to some of the farmers and 4-Hers in the different schools. So that's what I have so far.
Right. So
Okay,
thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Cummins, doing a really good job in the Ministry of Agriculture. He has great potential. All right. And still, the NNP will be out there telling you that the government is not doing anything. They would go to their meetings, their zonal meetings, and they would run them out. They would bum their gum. They would say all manner of things. And still, they will tell you that the government is not doing this and not doing that. Look at the amount of things that the government gave to farmers and gave to fishers, and you know, it's not even funny, but boy, sometimes you have to laugh and not, you know, be bogged down or worried about anything, because the government continues to do a lot of work, a lot of work with the farmers and the fishers. PS Bagwan also give an update.
The number of payments have been made to date, but I just want to focus in terms of the additional support that we have been providing. So in the area of land clearing, as we are all aware, the northern parts have been severely impacted by the hurricane, with the loss of quite a number of trees, many economic trees. So at least 2 days after the hurricane, the Ministry of Agriculture would have procured approximately 30 chainsaws and deploy them at the district agricultural offices. We also would have entered into some private arrangements with private chainsaw operators to be able to do some cleaning of the lands. So to date, we would have spent approximately $2 million in terms of chainsaw support and cleaning of farmers' land. Again, what would happen is that the farmers would make a request to the district offices, or the extension officers would visit, and they would do the assessment, and then they would deploy the chainsaw gang, whether it is from the ministry end or the private operators, to clean the portion of land that have been affected. We also had an ongoing program called the ADAPT program. Just over $1.3 million have been allocated to that program. To date, we have spent $787,000 in terms of farm labor support. I want to emphasize the fact that because quite a number of trees have failed, it is important that farmers get access to the land, and that's why we would have had that initial drive to clean up the access road and to be able to clean the farmland so that the farmers could go in and start replanting. In this regard, we have a number of our propagation stations have been damaged. We've been able to salvage some material and some covering, and we have restarted the propagation process. So currently, we have the following plants, or a number of plants available. So in Ashinden, we have approximately 1,784 plants still available for sale. In Boulong, principally do cocoa and nutmeg, so we have 8,917 plants available. In Maran, we have 5,685 plants still available, and Maribo, 1,905 plants. So we would have propagated well over 50,000 plants at the beginning of the year, but these are the balance, and as I've mentioned before, we have started the propagation process so that come June of next year, we'll be able to have plants that is robust and ready to be replanted. We also would have started previously the fertilizer distribution program at a highly subsidized price. We would have procured well over 60,000 bags of fertilizer. We have just approximately 15,000 bags remaining, and these fertilizers are being sold at 3 points in Maribo station. We also have in Bellevue in the Formentry area, and we also have in Mackinboard, the River Road section. So these are the 3 areas that farmers could go to get the fertilizers at very subsidized price of $50 per bag.
Right, so still the NNP will tell you that the government is not doing this and not doing that. I'm not hearing them talk too much about the road work. By now, you know the gangs, they're out in all the constituencies doing the bushing work, and we're not hearing the NNP that much talking about that. All right. It's amazing. Let's move to the Honorable Kieran James.
Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy Honorable Kieran James says the OECS region has the potential to set the standard for a model blue economy. She was addressing the gathering at the 4th annual OECS Blue Economy Investor Roundtable discussion in St. Lucia. The discussions are designed to raise interest in and drive sustainable ocean investment across the region. It is centered on the importance of integrating environmental, social, and governance criteria into blue investments and provide a platform for key stakeholders to connect, share insights, and explore collaborative opportunities that can drive innovative and growth in the blue economy sector. She said once the region adopts an integrated approach, it can unlock the full potential of the oceans and enhance regional resilience.
We must also address key challenges like climate change. We must also address key challenges like biodiversity loss and pollution that are particularly pronounced in small island developing states like ours. As a model for the OECS region, Grenada's National Ocean Policy aims to balance economic development and sustainability. So we're going a little too fast. Now, the interdependence of oceans ecosystems requires that we as detailed in Grenada's draft National Ocean Policy, ecosystem-based management ensures that our policies address the complex interrelations between marine ecosystems, human activities, and external pressures like climate change. This integrated approach is essential, of course, for both the health of our oceans and the success of our blue economy initiatives. The OECS has the potential to set the global standard for a model blue economy region driven by policy coherence, technological innovation, and collaborative governance. And so as we move forward, it is crucial that we champion innovation. It is crucial that we advocate for strong international partnerships and advocate for strong implementation of policies that ensures our ocean remain healthy, productive, and vibrant for future generations.
Minister James outlined Grenada's strategies to address pollution and biodiversity loss. Government, she says, continues to invest heavily in the blue economy.
Climate change, biodiversity loss, and marine pollution. Rising sea levels, increasing ocean acidification, sargassum influx, and more frequent extreme weather events are threatening our coastal and marine ecosystems. Biodiversity loss driven by overfishing and habitat destruction weakens the resilience of marine life, while pollution, particularly from plastics and land-based activities, continues to degrade our ocean environment. And earlier on today, you've heard a presentation from my advisor and a robust figure in the climate, in the plastics treaty and plastics dialogue as it relates to marine pollution and plastics. Now, Grenada's active engagement in international agreements like the BBNJ agreement, and we will ratify very soon, and the Global Plastics Treaty highlights the need for global action to dealing with marine pollution and biodiversity loss. Grenada's draft National Ocean Policy is not just a local framework, but is a part of a larger regional blueprint for aligning policies across ocean member states. We believe that it emphasizes the need for a unified approach, ensuring that the management of our fisheries, our tourism, as you've heard, energy and coastal protection sectors is coordinated and mutually supportive. Thus, this policy framework allows us to balance economic development with environmental protection, ensuring that our ocean resources are managed sustainably across all sectors.
OECS Director General, His Excellency Dr. Didacus Jules, Honorable Darren Penard, Minister for Labor in Dominica, Dr. Jamie Cavalier, Vice President of the International Conservation Caucus Foundation Group and French Ambassador to the Eastern Caribbean, Barbados and the OECS, His Excellency Francis Etienne, also attended the event.
Honorable Kieran James there. She's representing Grenada well, and we congratulate her. She has been really the lead in the region when it comes to climate change, climate resilience, and so on. The environment, she has been out there, and she continues to be given more and more portfolio to represent the region, not just Grenada, on the big stage. So we want to commend her, and we are proud of you, the Honorable Kieran James. Continue doing what you're doing. Some people may not see the importance of what you're doing. Some people may not appreciate it They don't understand. Sometimes you have to put them sit down and say, hey, we must do what we're doing here, because it's kind of connected to a lot of things. Funding, international, uh, projects funded by international bodies. They're all interconnected. So sometimes you have to do what you got to do. And I think she's doing a fantastic job out there. So kudos to you, the Honorable Kyrene James. So let's move now to something else. I have been saying for quite a while that the NNP love to see their supporters poor and vulnerable. I went as far as to say I personally know a lot of the NNP supporters, and I met them 15, 16, 17 years ago. And I'm telling you, I met them poor, and they're still poor because they're kept poor by the NNP administration over the 23 years plus they were in power. They kept these people poor because once they're poor, then they're dependent. Once they're poor, they become worshippers of those in power during the NNP time. They saw them as their messiah. And they never did anything to help them to come out of poverty, to better themselves. They never wanted that for these people. So Keith Mitchell openly referred to these people as poor, the NNP supporters, only recently.
You know, when poor people have money, everybody get piece of the money. When big people have money, they spend it in Miami and New York and so on. Well, I'm telling you the truth. When if I have to buy a shirt, I go in Miami and buy my shirt. But you poor, you don't go in. You buying it right here. You go in
You could imagine that?
the shop. You buy the power flour.
You could imagine a leader of a party referring to these people as poor, and they clapping, they laughing, they jolly about it. This guy is saying when he has to buy a shirt and so on, he don't go in the ordinary stores and so on in Grenada and buy a shirt or anything of that sort. No. He goes outside Miami and those places.
And you know something? You know, when poor people have money, everybody get piece of the money. When big people have money, they spend it in Miami and New York and so on. Well, I'm telling you the truth. If I have to buy a shirt, I go in Miami and buy my shirt. But you poor, you don't go in. You buying it right here. They go in the shop. You buy the power flour.
Now it's so embarrassing. It's shameful, and these people are there happy about that, right? Remember, Keith Mitchell is a rich guy. He has millions and millions and millions of dollars. But here you have his supporters, happy with the fact that they're poor. And I mean, I know many of these people. They were poor 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and they're still poor today. They're still poor today. And I'm saying NNP been in power for 20-something years. 20-something, 23 years. What did the NNP do to help these people to get out of poverty or to improve their lives and living standard and condition and so on? Just kept these people poor and vulnerable. And this man has the guts, the gall, to openly refer to these people as poor because he knows that they are poor. But they kept these people poor, and I always play this piece from the Honorable Andy Williams, looking at the number of pit latrines and so on that exist in this country after being in power for 20-something years. They left this amount of people still using pit latrines in Grenada. And that is their legacy. That is their legacy. If you ask me, that is their legacy. Let me again play that to remind you. That is what the NNP left behind for the NDC to fix. And the NDC has to find ways and means to fix it. All right? Fix it. So I had it somewhere on here. The Honorable Andy Williams spoke about it. The number of, right. Yeah, that's the NNP's legacy.
1,398 households with no access to toilet facilities. We also have approximately 3,500 persons have no running water in their homes. Also, we have 8,715 persons today that uses pit latrines.
Honorable Andy Williams, Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, sharing some statistics on the number of households without proper access to water and sanitation facilities.
Yeah, so that is what the NNP left behind, poverty. So they kept these people poor. And now the NDC came into power and they're constructing new homes for a lot of people who needed a new house or needed their home to be repaired, right? The NNP refused to help these people over all these years. So all the NNP talking. Look at the amount of houses that this government is building for our people. And they are doing so with bathroom and toilet. With bathroom and toilet, modern bathroom and toilet facility. The NDC is different. But still, the NNP would be out there making you believe otherwise. But look at the amount of, look, when the statistics comes out, right? When they put out that statistic on the amount of houses that the NDC built, the amount of houses with bathroom and toilet facility, because they are working to eradicate pit latrines. They're working to eradicate open bathroom facility. They're doing an indoor bathroom and toilet facility with pipe-borne water, with running water. When that statistics is out there, when they put it out there, you're going to realize. And the amount of roads that the NDC constructed so far, the amount of drains they constructed so far, the amount of houses they built, the amount of bathroom and toilet facilities they built, the amount of community centers they refurbish or recondition, the amount of playing fields they upgraded and lit, the amount of solar lights that they put up in areas where people were afraid to go during the night, the amount of police stations that they repaired. And you don't have a serious problem with the NDC doing stuff and not doing something official like an official opening. The St. Paul's police station, for example, a good piece of work. Go down there to bring the St. Paul's police station to where it is now. A real good piece of work. And kudos to the contractor. A brilliant and nice piece of work. But I didn't see any official opening ceremony for that facility. Maybe they have something planning and they will do so in the future. But I expected some official opening ceremony for that facility. And that is something that the NDC has always been weak at, not blowing their own trumpet, not tooting their own horn, not talking and telling people about the things that they are doing and showcasing it, because, nowadays it's about graphic, videos and so on. You got to put that out there to show people. They have to see. Visual aid, they have to see. So I hope that they would do something official for that police station. They're moving to Grenville police station, right? They're going to fix that police station. Do something official, just like the Honorable Tevin did in Carriacou with the Hillsborough police station, the main police station in Carriacou, right? Do something about that. Launch the thing, officially open the thing. So you launch and you officially open, you cut the ribbon and you have a nice ceremony showcasing the work that you did. We want to see that. The same thing with the Molyneux Bridge project there. That project, do an official thing. The same thing I talked about with the regularization of workers. Showcase it. When the 15 nurses get to be permanent, when the 20 teachers get to be permanent, when the, police get to be permanent, and the workers, because you actually regularized 404 people already, but we have not seen any ceremony showcasing that. So, you have to understand it's so important to showcase these things. These things are big political things or items or events or whatever. They're big politically. You get political mileage from that. So you need to, put it out there, because the NDC is doing a lot of good things, right? Look at the amount of money they pump into agriculture and directly in the hands of farmers. Look at the amount of money they pump directly into small businesses and medium-sized businesses with the CES program. Look at the amount of money they pump into the retirees' hands, right? $75.1 million, 15.1 million or so in the CES program for the small businesses. They placed 25 million only recently in Grenada Development Bank for the businesses that have been affected, that were affected by Hurricane Beryl. And we can go on and on. You see, sometimes we have to chronicle it and document it and put out there, throw it in the face of the NNP, because they're out there telling people that the NDC and this and the NDC and that and the NDC and this, and the NDC just increase the amount of money for nurses. $500 extra, making it $6,000 annually every year. They're getting $6,000 totally, The doctors, $12,000 more they're getting. You see, sometimes we have to toot our own horns. We have to talk about the good things that we have been able to achieve and do. Right? Let them deal with the facts. Let them deal. Look at the amount of farmers who got chicks and they continue to give them that. So many things are happening. Look at the amount of plants, nutmeg plants, cocoa, citrus, just name it, at reduced cost. Concessionary rates on fertilizer. Beryl affected the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and St. Patrick and so on. The amount of waivers and no property tax for 2025 and no tax on appliances and on building materials, and we could just go on and on and on and on. But still, the NNPs out there say, well, the NDC this and the NDC that and the NDC. Come on. We have to put the facts on the table. And I think the PR is improving, right? The government PR and the NDC PR is improving. You realize that our beloved Prime Minister is popping up on a lot of programs. Then you have those ministers popping up on a number of programs. They're doing some work behind the scenes, and when they're doing good things, you have to commend them and applaud them. I think that they're improving, but you have to continue and do more. Showcase. Let's beat our own chest with the facts and the evidence on the many things that we are doing out there. The government is doing a lot of work. A lot of work. Right? So we got to continue on that path. We have to continue on that path. Some people are out there saying, well, the country this and the country that. But you go around, try to get a carpenter, a mason, and a plumber, and an electrician, and somebody doing tiles, right? Or some interior designer. And so go and try to get them now. You can't get these people because they're working. There's a lot of work. Try to get a painter now. There's a lot of work available. But you see, what the NNP did over the many years is to brainwash our people. And they have cultured some of our people to even think that they're lazy. They're making people think that they're lazy. You can imagine that? They're making people think that there's nothing available for them when a lot of opportunities are available for our people. And the government continues on that path. And we have to give the government kudos. They're working diligently to make things happen for our people. This Culture Park in Carriacou. Big up your whole self, the Honorable Tevin Andrews, on that. That's Culture Park. That's Sculpture Park. That's a big thing for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. A world adrift.
Sculpture Park in the Grenadines was officially launched in Carriacou during a Grenada Tourism Authority consultation in July 2023. Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Honorable Tevin Andrews, suggested the idea of the 13-square-mile island having its own sculpture park. Today, the park, dubbed a World Adrift, is a reality. It features local students from primary and secondary schools and is critical in positioning the islands as leaders in sustainable tourism by integrating art with marine conservation. Visionary sculptor Jason DeCars Taylor was the designer of Carriacou's first underwater sculpture park. Minister Andrews, speaking at the official launch of the park, said there must be continuous ways to boost the local economy and described the park as added attraction. Curl Hostialik, Chief Operations Officer of the GTA, noted that in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, which left a trail of devastation, the underwater sculpture park is a reminder of the power of renewal, hope, recovery, and resilience, not just for the land, but for the seas as well.
Yeah, so that's a big thing for Carriacou and PT Martinique. And we have to give the Honorable Tevin Andrews thumbs up, kudos, and, give him all the accolades. This guy is determined and he wants to see good for the people of Carriacou and the PT Martinique. This is a big thing for Carriacou and PT Martinique. And I love to see how the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique pulling together to make sure that these things happen. Right? And I tell people that Carriacou will build back better than before and faster than mainland Grenada after Hurricane Ivan. I could tell you that Carriacou and PT Martinique, the people are resilient, the people are determined, the people are strong, right? They have a strong will, and things will happen for the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique. So again, I want to applaud the Honorable Tevin Andrews. I think he's doing a fantastic job. The NNP, they could talk, they could run their mouth, they could say all kind of stuff. But when it comes to getting the job done, it's a different ball game. Prefab houses delivered to Carriacou and PT Martinique.
15 of 27 prefabricated houses sponsored by Trinidad-based volunteer organization Hands That Serve have arrived in Carriacou. The houses, which will be fully furnished, are part of housing support in the rebuilding process following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Minister for Carriacou and PT Martinique Affairs and the local government, Honorable Tevin Andrews, has extended appreciation to Hands That Serve for their contribution. Housing construction has been one of the major concerns since the hurricane. Minister Andrews noted that the government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Carriacou and PT Martinique Affairs, is providing material support for the restoration of roofs. Other housing support is being provided through Project Build Back Better, with 10 such houses presently under construction. Andrews said other housing initiatives will soon be announced.
Yes, and so far they've given out a lot of material assistance to the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique. When the numbers come out, you will hear for yourself the amount of people in Carriacou and PT Martinique who got material assistance, and they are constructing houses. So people now they continue to repair roofs of folks in Carriacou and PT Martinique. They continue to give the assistance needed to so many people out there. All right, the statistics will be known. They're going to put it out there. They will put it out there because it's important. It's important to put it on the table. All right. So again, big up your whole self there, the Honorable Tevin Andrews. A lot is happening for people. A lot is happening for people. And still, the NNP will be out there saying, man, nothing is happening, nothing in this, nothing in that. But the evidence is there to show that the NDC is hard at work, because they believe that the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, they deserve to have a better standard of living. So at this point, the new pension scheme soon to commence.
A new pension plan as part of its reform process, the new plan being proposed after numerous consultations, is a win for all, as it means individuals working within the public sector who in the past would retire without a take-home savings will now be in a better financial position. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Administration, Lindana Hilaire Marshall, during the government's press briefing on Wednesday, says the pension reform is of critical importance to the government. The 3% contributions that employees will have to pay into the plan should not be seen as a negative, but a positive.
3% is not a loss. You put in 3%, the government is matching it with 3. 3 and 3 is 6. So at the end of the day, you still end up with 6. And even if you subtract the 3 that you put, you still end up with 3. So I can't see how that could ever be a loss. So we're encouraging people to see it as half full and not supposed to half empty. It's not about you losing anything. That 3% that you put forward is an investment for your future tomorrow. So we can't see that as a loss in any way. In fact, we see it as a gain because they are going to be gaining 3% that the government would be matching.
While there has been much debate in the public sphere about the new pension plan, P.S. Marshall says the Pension Reform Committee still sits without representation from the Grenada Trades Union Council.
Unfortunately, no. There is no representation on the Pension Reform Committee by the unions. I would say because the unions refused to participate in the exercise. The invitation went out to the TUC, which is the umbrella body for the union, to identify someone to be on the committee, and we've had no response to that. We've made other attempts to get their involvement, and we've engaged them separately. Some of them did attend the sessions, some didn't. But we continue to do as much as we can to involve them in every way. We've sent all the documentations to them. We've invited them to all of the consultations. We've had one-on-one with some of them, as I said. But to date, we have not had the commitment to have anybody sit on the committee.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell also spoke to the issue, stating that the pension will be applicable to some 3,000 plus persons who at present do not have a pension. PM Mitchell says one must look at the issue of pension reform objectively.
If they leave the service now, whether it's on retirement age or whether they've worked for 10 or 15 years, they get nothing. So what the government is seeking to do is to give them a pension plan. And the government is contributing 3%, and we are asking them to contribute 3%. So that 3% is their money. The only issue is that we are simply saying, as opposed to spending all of it now, we are incentivizing you to save 3% of it, and we are matching an additional 3%. And to be clear, for all of the years that you've been working that you do not currently have a pension plan for, so that if you were leaving tomorrow, you will get nothing when you walk out, we are actually paying a past service contribution on the commencement of the pension plan. As in, we are going to fund a certain percentage to recognize the fact that you've already worked for whatever period of time with no payments going towards your pension. So I want to emphasize this. This is gain, 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 because currently you have nothing. If you leave now, you get nothing. If you work until you retire, you get nothing. And we're saying that, you see the numbers. We're not talking 5 people here. We are talking 3,600 plus persons who currently face this situation.
Sustainability, Prime Minister Mitchell says, is also key in the new pension plan, as it is not prudent to go back to a system where the pension is solely funded by the government.
Because the situation we're in has arisen by the fact that essentially we had an unsustainable human resource finance management policy in place, which saw 70% of our money going towards wages and salaries, and the rest going towards financing debt. I still want to repeat the call made by the PS. Very early, the department wrote to the Trade Unions Council inviting them to take part in this process. They have never done so. Notwithstanding that, we will continue to engage with them, whether it's individually or collectively if they want to do so. The consultant has been on island repeatedly throughout this process, and there's been several engagements, and we have no difficulty in addressing that. The PS didn't say this, but I'm going to say it. The Public Workers Union went to the lawyers who wrote the government. We've since responded to that letter. And even in that letter, although what was contained in the letter was hogwash, we have still indicated to them we are ready to meet, and we propose the date of 30th October. But I want to make it clear, we are committed to doing this. We are committed to making sure that we do not leave the current generation of workers who do not have a pension to find themselves 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now retiring with no pension in place.
Yeah, that's a visionary leader. That's a caring leader. He wants good for the people who do not have a pension to go home to. They're working within the public service, within government, but they're on contract and they have nothing to fall back on when they retire. Those who are permanent, they have a pension to fall back on. But those who are unestablished, those who are on contract, nothing. So this government is trying to put something in place for them. So when they retire, they would retire with something coming every month that they can take care of themselves and their family. And I love that. It's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. All right? But the union, they continue, well, at least that union, the Public Workers Union, the president of that union, he continues to be out there talking all kind of nonsense, all kind of rubbish. The guy is picking fight that he should not pick with government in terms of workers and what is happening. Because the workers, they have benefited far, far more under this administration when compared to the previous administration. But folks, we have gone past the hour, the 9 o'clock hour. I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. We have a lot to discuss and plenty materials. All right, plenty materials. I will continue again tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m. because we have to empower people. We have to educate our people. We have to provide the information so that they would go there and spread the truth and talk about exactly the good things that are happening